That means I've got 30 seconds to pull faces.
That's it. Broadcasting now.
Thank you.
Recording to the cloud, and we're away. And one participant in. Hello and welcome. We'll be getting started in just a couple of moments' time. Excellent. We will get underway. Hello and welcome everybody to the student information session on the FNS50217 Diploma of Accounting. With me today, I have our Chief Executive and Academic Officer, Iona McKimmie. Iona, welcome.
Hi, James. How are you? Great to be here.
Very good. Excellent to have you with us. And Danielle O'Neill, welcome.
Thanks, James. Hi, everyone.
So over the next half an hour or so, we'll take an opportunity to go through the course, provide some information which will be very valuable for both prospective and, I dare say, current students as well. There'll be an opportunity to ask questions at the end. However, if something does come to mind, please feel free to raise a question. I'll do my very best to put it to our subject matter experts throughout. So without further ado, let's have a look at the course overview itself. Iona, at this point, I'm going to hand on over to you to talk to us a little bit about the course, the entry requirements, and of course, some of the outcomes that students can expect upon completion of what is arguably an absolutely wonderful diploma. Over to you.
It is a great course, and it's a very practically orientated course, and it's a very accessible course, and it supports students in such a wide range of industries, James. And as you've said here, it's what we refer to as an intermediate qualification. So it builds on knowledge that students will have already developed as they've completed one of the prerequisite courses for entry requirements. And there's 4 of those courses. So I'll just speak to the entry requirements for the course in a moment. And I will say that the course is particularly suited for people that are already working in the bookkeeping industry and accounting industry, as well as students who actually might be working in a business administration role, for example, and they might do some invoice processing or receive receipts or manage an inventory, for example. They might also be working as accounts assistants or wholly and solely doing payroll and nothing else. So there's a wide range of administrative positions that this course is well suited to build on students' basic, introductory knowledge to the topic. And the Diploma of Accounting is actually a really great course to do that, because it expands students' experience in a whole lot of really great practical ways, as I said before. So anyway, I digress. Let me come back to talking about the entry requirements for the course. So there's 4, pathways for entry into the course. And they are completing the accounting principles skill set, which is a group of units that actually provide the foundation knowledge, if you like, to complete the diploma. The Certificate 4 in Accounting, which has been replaced with, and the Certificate 4 in Bookkeeping. Both courses were combined around about 18 months ago in our national training package. And they became the Certificate 4 in Accounting and Bookkeeping because those two older courses were very, very similar. So the other entry pathway for this is also the older Diploma of Accounting, and students are actually able to upgrade their qualification as part of doing this course as well. So there's a number of different ways that students can enter the course. Excuse me. So there's a lot of options there for students, and it's very fair to say that if students have completed any one of these pathways to entrance, then they will have developed the skills and knowledge to actually begin the course, that foundational knowledge. And And they'll be able to actually move through the course pretty comfortably. If the course is scaffolded, as I said, to actually be really doing those tasks, you know, in a workplace and for a business or for themselves, for example, as running their own bookkeeping and accounting consultancy or service. Yeah.
Excellent. Now, Danielle, you speak with a whole range of students and professionals in the bookkeeping and accounting industry. I mean, what's the sort of feedback that you get from them with respect to, I suppose, the benefits of upgrading or, I suppose, further developing one's skill set, whether they come from, say, a bookkeeping background into something like accounting, which we're talking about now?
Yeah, absolutely, James. So as Iona mentioned there, it really does take a deep dive into that knowledge and the skills that is gained and built in those initial prerequisite courses. So employers are definitely going to favour having the diploma because they will understand that you do get that deeper level of knowledge that you may not necessarily get from the skill set or the certificate was completed prior.
Excellent. Yeah. So it really is kind of that breadth, but depth, and of course, then in those real world, it's not just the skills, but also what the employers will recognise as well. Now, I want to jump into something which is, I mean, really exciting about this particular course, and this is the idea that, well, I suppose the opportunity or option to take on different streams. Okay, so certainly with your diploma of accounting here, we have a number of core units, but we have a management accounting stream and a BAS Agent registration stream. I'm going to hand on over you to explain what this is all about and perhaps why students would choose certain streams and what the benefits of this flexibility really are.
Okay, so just as a bit of a broad explanation, all courses have core units because that's the core knowledge. It's the things that we really need to know to be able to do those things in the workplace. So we need to know how to prepare tax documentation, how to manage budgets rather than just create them, how to manage them. You know, how do we go about managing a cash flow budget? And what do we do, you know, if the expenses for the business change in a month, and how do we update that budget, and, you know, what effect does that have on our reporting and so on and so forth, which is why, again, we look at preparing financial reports as well for corporate entities. We also look at internal control procedures, which is about documentation and the accounting standards and a number of other procedures. And we also look at providing management accounting information. Now, management accounting information is not necessarily the same reporting and same information, as much as it all comes, you know, from the same data set, which is our accounting transactions, but they're different reports that we might produce. So, for example, we might produce a cash sales report, and then we also might produce an accrual sales report. But I won't sort of get all deep and dark into, you know, deep accounting terminology here right now. I'll just see. I'll just talk about this briefly. So one of the things that we've responded to a lot in this course is that people need real skills to be able to go out there in the workplace. And at the moment, one of the things that we know our students are so focused on is developing those real skills when they go out there in the workplace. So they can say to a prospective employer, look, I did this in my course. Yeah. And we know that we know that prospective employers really want students to have done courses that give them real skills. So this is where we've tried to build two streams. So if you like, there's a management accounting stream, and then there is what we call the BAS Agent registration stream. So the management accounting stream is about all that hands-on stuff that we do when we're working as an assistant financial controller or an accountant in a business, or we might even be working as a business administrator. So it's about all of those good things that we do. So as it says here, you know, we prepare financial reports. We have to work with a wide range of people. So it's also about workplace relationships, and we've got that in both, because it doesn't matter what kind of workplace we're in, we've really got to be able to communicate and work in different contexts. And the other thing that we've got in our management accounting stream is actually operational budgeting. Now, operational budgeting is a very important tool, because to be able to prepare and manage operational budgets, it actually feeds all the way back up to our strategic planning. And a lot of businesses when they're looking at strategic planning and their day-to-day operations, they need those operational budgets. So an operational budget, we might have 5 departments, for example, and so we have different parts of our operations. So that means as we go through this unit, we actually look at different departments, look at different types of budgets, look at how we'd manage those, and how it all comes together, and it comes all back around to providing that management accounting information that we looked at as part of our core units. In the BAS Agent registration stream, we've taken a different approach because we know that some of our students actually go ahead to work as either entry-level accountants or assistant accountants in accounting practices. And one of the things that we know is that in those practices, they really do a lot of work as far as supporting their clients are concerned, and they might actually be managing their communications with the taxation office and submitting their their BAS every month on their client's behalf. Now, we also might be doing that too if we're running a book, if we're operating our own bookkeeping and accountancy consultancy or service, where we might actually prepare the BAS for our client, but then our client's actual accountant might submit that. But what the BAS Agent registration does is it actually allows students to be able to submit the BAS on behalf of the business. So they can apply to the Tax Practitioner Board for their accreditation. And these units that we deliver, which are FNS 401, Complete Business Activity and Instalment Activity Statements, and establish and maintain payroll systems, are actually accredited with the Tax Practitioner Board. They're accredited units. So there are 2 true benefits to looking at where we're thinking about wanting to work, even as far as job opportunities are concerned.
Okay, so it looks simple on one hand and a little bit complex on the other. I mean, Danielle, this is where you and your team really sort of come into play. I mean, if I was sort of sitting on the fence and not really sure which is the most appropriate stream, I mean, take me through the process that perhaps you or members of your team would take a student perspective or otherwise through in identifying the most appropriate pathway, or certainly for this course anyway.
Absolutely, James. So the first thing that we would need to discuss is going to be the most appropriate entry made for you. So whether or not that's a skill set, a previous qualification, or the certificate 4 in accounting and bookkeeping, that's going to be the first sort of option that we need to work out. And from there, planning the study plan. It's really going to be determined by what is best for that individual student and the job outcomes that they're after. So the students we're dealing with generally will have a job in mind that they're trying to work towards, and that's where that conversation will come in. If you're not sure and you're still considering it, then of course get in touch and have a chat, because there are, as we've sort of covered there is a lot of options available, and it can be really complex, but it's our role, and we do it really well, is to make that very simple and easy to understand for the student.
Excellent. Now let's get on to an area which I'm really excited about, particularly with this industry, and I saw this in researching, obviously putting this together for our prospective students, but the accounting industry and certainly jobs in that space are expected to grow by almost 10% in the next 5 years, which is absolutely incredible. I mean, certainly when you look at areas of growth. I'm going to hand on over to you and talk to us a little bit about some of the roles that the Diploma of Accounting could lead you into, or certainly the skills and qualifications would support.
There's a Diploma of Accounting. It takes us to all sorts of places in as far as our job search is concerned, or our job opportunities are concerned, or our future careers, because they're something that every business requires. But there's a number of roles that actually work with all of those financial transactions, so they do some slightly different things. So there's the BAS agent, as I was talking about before, for people that are either working in an accounting practice and supporting the practice's clients by processing their business activity and instalment activity statements each month and submitting that to the ATO. They might actually be doing that in a management accounting role as well. There's auditors' roles, for example, across a number of industries where the Diploma of Accounting is considered to be the minimum qualification. for those people that are wanting to go on and study auditing, for example. There's a number of institutions that offer credits from the Diploma of Accounting into the Diploma of Auditing. But that varies with different institutions. So students should actually speak with institutions that deliver that. There's an investment analyst, because a lot of the basis of what is in the foundation units or the core units for the Diploma of Accounting actually supports the development of that knowledge and those skills. Forensic accountants, that goes with our auditing, and I mean, what an exciting thing to do, to be able to, you know, work in an organisation where you're actually supporting the functions of knowing exactly what happened and when it was happening. That's for all of us out there that would really like to be a private detective almost. So it's forensic accounting is a fascinating thing. It often happens with law enforcement, for example, and other investigations. And it's an unusual skill, and it's an unusual industry, but there is always a demand for people entering that area of industry. Finance managers, financial controllers, departmental accounts managers, payroll managers, sales managers. Some of them actually have completed diplomas of accounting, which I'm sure Danielle will support as an education advisor. You know, sort of when you're talking with large volumes of people and, you know, you're working stuff out for people, these are really important things to be able to do. And cost accounting. Cost accounting is also another area which is set to grow, as is estimating. So the Diploma of Accounting also supports people that are looking at estimating roles as well in the project management industry, in some industries, which it wouldn't be, of course, construction or civil engineering, but other areas of project management. So project management itself always has a great number of budgets that we do. We do time billing, we do payroll management, we do all sorts of things in project management. So a Diploma of Accounting also feeds into that. So all of these opportunities, when we bring them all together, is why we've got a nearly 10% growth as far as industry and opportunities for people that have completed a Diploma of Accounting over the next few years.
Excellent. Now, we've talked about, I suppose, the pathways and all of the jobs that it can lead into. And for those who are listening in or certainly watching today's live event, Danielle, I'm going to ask you, what are some of the backgrounds of candidates, professionals, students that you speak to that are actually taking up this qualification?
Really hard question to answer, James, because there is so much variety in the candidates coming through, from project managers that have spent their life on the tools that are now getting into the office environment and adding that accounting spectrum, as Iona mentioned, from people that have left school and want to kickstart their career in accounting, people returning to work after starting a family and having some time off and re-entering the workforce there. It's really got so much variety where a lot of different industries and a lot of different job roles can lead into this industry. So it really doesn't matter what background you're coming from, it can still, those previous skills can generally benefit when it comes to accounting.
It really is a core business function. I mean, irrespective of what industry it is. I mean, I don't think there's qualification out there, business or otherwise, that doesn't include at least one accounting unit. And if that's not testament to the value and importance of skills, knowledge and qualifications in these areas, I don't know what is. Let's talk a little bit about the course itself and the learning material. Iona.
Okay, yes, one of my favourite topics, as we know. So there's a vast range of learning material that's available in the learning management system. And it's all accessible in the learning management system. So textbooks, learner guides, presentations, and any other additional sort of support materials are available to students in the learning management system. There is no additional cost for this. All of our this course has all of the materials provided for students. There'll always be elements of self-directed research and self-directed activities that support students to develop deeper knowledge. So they may actually be linked to a video, they may be linked to a different document that might involve developing a checklist, a process flow, something that actually relates to the topic within the unit. And of course, it's a big course, you know, there's 11 units. So there's always a wide range of things to do, and a wide range of things to experience. There's some quizzes, which we'll talk about a bit later in the in the assessment section. But the other thing that, of course, that is always available is the learning materials inside the learning management system. So students might also experience recorded webinars, discussion forums, and a lot of it depends on the unit and what the content of the unit is. We also link to the Australian Tax Office and their instructional videos, for example, in a couple of the units. And we also draw down on things like codes of practice from different organisations that relate to accounting and the accounting standards. So there's a wide range of learning material that students will experience throughout the course.
Excellent, thank you very much. Now, Denny, I'm going to hand it on over to you, and if you could talk to us a little bit about the online learning experience. I mean, what are some of the technology requirements for students? Can they access anything from everywhere? And what's it like working remotely, and how should people set themselves up for success?
Yeah, absolutely, James. So as Iona mentioned, everything for the course is hosted on the learning management system. That sounds very fancy, but it's as easy as jumping onto a website, logging in with an email address and a password, and everything is there for you. So the first thing you'll see when you log in is similar to what's on screen now with the Let's Get Started button. That's going to talk you through all the basics and how to use the system in there. You can log on and do your studies at any time, day or night, or any day of the week. So it is always available. You're not stuck to any kind of schedule. You are working through it in your own time. And it's just a matter of starting at the top and working your way through. Of course, we've got the student support team who are available with any kind of system questions or anything that you need help in that regard. You've also got the inbuilt button there where it says email student support. You can just click and get straight through to them as well. So it's mobile compatible, and you can use it on a laptop, tablet, whatever it may be. We do recommend that you have a laptop or a desktop for assessments and learning, because it is just going to make life easier. But the learning material can be read on your mobile or your iPad and whatever it may be. You don't need anything super fancy, just a decent internet connection, device to study on. And yeah, that's really all you need.
Excellent. Now, is there anything that you'd like to add there, Iona, about the learning management system, or the web page as it really is?
I think one of the great things about this learning management system is that students are actually able to experience their learning in real time wherever they are. So it's truly portable, because as Danielle suggested, you know, a tablet or a laptop or a desktop computer is helpful for students to be able to complete their assessments, because of course, you know, they'll need to do certain things in Word and manage tables and all of that sort of thing. But aside from that, you know, in terms of true portability, the textbooks that are available in our courses are all e-reader friendly. And they're all responsive, so students are able to actually do their reading on their mobile if they like. Let me give you an example of a typical thing for a student in portability. So the students studying one of the units in the course, and so what they do is they do their reading from their textbooks on the train on their way to and from work, and then when they get home at the end of the day or during the day at work, however they're studying, they're able to log in on their desktop computer, complete the quiz, do any self-directed learning activities, visit any websites that might have been linked. During, you know, their trip on the train, they might have actually clicked on the link because there's a video to watch. So they've watched the video on their phone. So it truly is portable, it's flexible, and it's accessible, I think, most importantly. And we get a lot of feedback about accessibility and how easy it is to use. And that's really where we need to focus, I think, for this conversation anyway, is that accessibility in this course.
Excellent. Now, talking about accessibility, and the term you mentioned was self-directed learning and assessments. Of course, a slide up here, which is a favourite with all students, and how are we assessed? I mean, what is it that I need to do? I mean, there's quite a lengthy list there. Does that apply to all modules or only some? And how does it all work? Take us through it.
Well, I have to admit that this is usually the third question that I'm always asked by a student. What are my assessments? What are my assessments? Okay, so in every unit, of course, we complete some type of assessment, and there's an assignment as far as that's concerned. So it's a mix, and we don't do the same things in every unit. So all units will have either multiple choice questions or short answer questions, but after that, it becomes very much a mixed bag. So, for example, there's case studies in one unit that won't be in another unit. There might be a portfolio of documents that a student creates. So it might be a couple of policies, or they might be asked to design some forms. They might be asked to write a procedure. So they all fit into project tasks. So there's always a different range of tasks in a project. There might be a presentation to create because the unit requires interaction with others. So there's always a range of things, but commonly most assessments have 2 assignments in them, and they're made up of short answer questions and projects or other tasks. Or research requirements for a research task in different assessments. So no student will ever experience the 1, 2, 3, so the 7 things that we've got on the screen in one unit. No. I don't know about you, James, but I know I'm right now I've just given up even studying because that's just so scary. No, it's not. There's always two assignments in every assessment, and it's always a mixture of things.
Excellent. Now, working through these assignments, I mean, there's a good chance I'm going to come up with a question or two. Danielle, if I do have any questions and I need a little bit of help along the way, what's the process? What support do I have access to? And then, of course, working through these 11 or 12 modules, how long do I have to take? And, is there any flexibility there? What's the go with timeframes?
Of course, yeah. So we are truly flexible, as we mentioned before. It's really flexible. You study through the course in your own pace. There's 11 units. Some people will aim for a unit a month and get it done in that 11 months. There's no restriction per unit or per assessment. You've just got your total course duration. As you can see, that's up to 2 years. You've got that full time to work through all of the course material. Our courses are designed for those who are busy. So the 2 years is allowing for a very busy person that's not going to be able to study every single day, but at least a couple of times a week with that consistent part-time study. Of course, we are there to assist, so we work to pretty standard Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. You can pick up the phone and give us a call or send through an email. Particularly with accounting, an email is sometimes really good to send through to the trainees. You can grab a screenshot, type out your question. They can prepare and be ready to either have a chat over the phone or respond via email as well. So there is always someone there to help the student support when it comes to the system, and of course the education advisors when it comes to the pre-enrolment and picking the right course as well.
Okay, great. And certainly just getting back to, I suppose, that flexibility on that 2 years. I mean, we've been working in the online education space with business, finance, accounting professionals for in excess of 17 years. So life happens. I mean, what options are available to us if that is in fact the case?
It does. Life does happen, James. Things go wrong, things happen that are unexpected. We're very flexible when it comes to helping students out. So there's the option of suspension if you need to just pause your studies, even if it's just going off on a holiday and you don't want to be worrying about your studies not getting done while you're away. Just stay in touch and let us know what dates you need us to suspend it for. And of course, if you did need longer than the 2 years, again, just get in touch. We can discuss the extension options as well. It is pretty rare that we would require extensions because, as I said, that 2 years really is quite a generous time frame to get the full course completed.
Okay, great. Now, I'm going to keep you with us, and I've taken the liberty of putting together a series of frequently asked questions, which we often get from students. And if you'd be kind enough to take us through those and provide us with some answers as best you can.
Absolutely. Spend most of my day going through these frequently asked questions with students. So the thing we do get asked quite regularly is, can I get government funding? The short answer is Mentor doesn't offer government funding. You may be eligible if that's something that you wanted to look into to get funding for a course. However, what we do find is that more often than not, it actually works out more cost effective to pay for our course fees, either upfront or through a flexible payment plan, than it is to go into any kind of debt through funding or anything like that. So yeah, it is really reasonably priced. We've got some great offers on at the moment, and there is that flexibility, which I'm jumping ahead to the next question. We do have the payment plans as well. So we do offer payment plans on the course. So have a chat to an education advisor about what's going to be the best payment option for you, whether that be upfront or through a payment plan. It definitely is all available.
Okay, great. And I can start anytime?
You certainly can, yes. So getting the course set up takes us generally a few hours. So if a student enrolls before 4 o'clock on a business day, we'll get it up and running for you that day, or the very next business day. You get everything you need, confirmation and next steps sent through.
Fantastic. And everything's included?
It is. This is one, because our prices are so reasonable, we get asked that all the time. Where's the extra fees? Am I paying for my assessment? Am I paying for my certificate at the end? It truly is all included. So that's your learning material, your assessments, everything you need to get you through to your graduation.
Okay, great. Nationally recognised and yeah?
Absolutely, yeah. So nationally recognised with the latest training package, which you can tell from the course code. So that's FNS50217. Pop that into Google, it'll tell you that is the latest up-to-date nationally recognised training package.
Excellent. Now, we've talked a lot about the prerequisites already, but one thing we didn't touch on, we did talk about the 2-year time frame, but how long do students usually take to finish?
It's really, again, because it is so flexible and the 2 years is quite a generous period, it can be anywhere from 12 months, 18 months to really stretching it out over the full 2 years. So it would be very uncommon for anyone to finish sooner than about the 12 months, which is average just over a unit a month. 18 months is probably the more frequent finish time, but we really do allow students to work through it in their own time. So it's really up to each individual. Okay,
great. Well, look, that brings us to the end of tonight's presentation, but we've just got a couple of questions sitting there. So thank you for those who sent them in. The first one is, if I'm unsure about my qualifications being a prerequisite, what do I do?
That's where you get in touch with myself and the education advisors. So there are, when we're looking at prerequisites, it did also add or equivalent. So if you're not sure if your qualification ticks one of those boxes, is equivalent to those qualifications, have a chat with us. We'll chat with our compliance team. We'll be able to talk you right through that process and then guide you towards the best entry or prerequisite course as well.
Okay, great. And one other question, and it actually comes up quite a lot, which is interesting and great to see, certainly with respect to lifelong learning, and that's, what are my options after I've completed the Diploma of Accounting? Iona, you're probably best to answer that.
There are so many different directions that we can go in with the Diploma of Accounting. So depending on what the student wants to do, it's more about life aspirations and career aspirations. So students are able to actually apply to an undergraduate course in accounting in higher education, or they're able to continue on with us at Mentor and complete an advanced Diploma of Accounting. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And by completing the Diploma of Accounting, there's actually 5 credits into the advanced diploma course from the Diploma of Accounting. So, a number of students choose to do the advanced diploma as a pathway course and then apply to undergraduate studies if they so want to. Or, excuse me, students are also able to split off and study in the business streams. So, I'm sorry. So, the diploma, so there's credit available for 2 units in the Diploma of Accounting into a Diploma of Business, or 2 credits available into the Advanced Diploma of Business, both of which have no prerequisites and no limits for entry. So there's a number of opportunities that we offer students, or students may actually also like to consider continuing study and doing a Diploma of Business Administration as well at the same level, because that very much supports students if they're applying for, say, business managers or office managers roles, where there is a level of accounting, or, for example, working as practice managers. So there's a number of opportunities available for students to actually be able to do that. And I'd encourage everybody to have a chat with Danielle and her team, who can talk to them about their career aspirations and maybe develop a pathway plan for the students to be able to continue their studies after their diploma, or even simultaneously with their diploma. There's other options available there too. So yeah, there's always a wide range of options available to students as far as pathways are concerned. The Diploma of Accounting is also recognised as an articulation course into an undergraduate course in commerce as well, which is delivered online with the University of South Australia. So they could also explore that option as well with Danielle and her team.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So, Danielle, I want to know more about the course. I want to know about the pathway options. I want to know if the qualifications I've done in the past will get me entry into this particular course. What's the most appropriate action for me to take?
Just get in touch, James, is the easiest way to do it. You can give us a call. So that's 1300 306 146. You can send us through an email. That's courseconsultant@mentor.edu.au. Jump on our website and open a web chat. Load up the Facebook page and open a messenger. Whatever works for you, get in touch and we'll be really happy to help out.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time tonight, Danielle.
Thanks, James.
Thank you, Iona.
Thanks, James.
As Danielle said, everybody, for more information, head on over to mentor.edu.au. Look, if you're just at the beginning of your education journey, certainly in this particular stream, be sure to tune in this same time, same day next week, where we'll be diving into the Certificate 4 in Accounting and Bookkeeping, which is actually the precursor course leading into the diploma. So again, if you'd like more information on that, certainly feel free to reach out to us direct or head on over to the website, mentor.edu.au, and looking forward to catching up with you all again soon.